Welcome. You are listening to Aftersight. This recording is intended solely for individuals who are blind or have low vision.
Thank you for joining us for the August 1st, 2024 Thursday reading of the Montrose and Delta News, as seen in the July 29th, 2024 edition of the Montrose Mirror. Today we will be reading the following main articles. Altrusa Club celebrates 49 years of service to Montrose and the world by Caroline McKelvey. And DMEA brings electricity to Navajo Nation homes by Gail Marvell. And following up with other miscellaneous articles. Let's begin. Altrusa Club celebrates 49 years of service to Montrose and the world by Carol Ann McKelvey, Mirror staff writer, Montrose. Altrusa International of Montrose celebrated its 49th birthday on June 5th, 2024. The local club is a member of Altrusa International, a service club started in 1917. The stated purpose of the International Club is a belief that everyone is able to make a positive difference to the world around them. Altrusa International states, quote, "We can each volunteer our time or donate our money towards worthy causes. Our individual efforts are small, but they matter. We can achieve even more when we bring people together." For more than 100 years, Altrusa clubs have collected members from varying occupations and lifestyles, all sharing an interest in community service. First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt was an active New York City Altrusa member. In Montrose, these members are from a wide range of occupations and lifestyles, including owners of local businesses, community volunteers, former professional women who, now retired, are ready to do service for the community and beyond. Altrusa of Montrose is committed to a better community through hands-on volunteer service. The club has flexible opportunities for service, and leaders say the club appreciates the value of members' time. The club welcomes women and men from diverse backgrounds and experiences who share common goals, and provides many opportunities for leadership development through service. Montrose's ongoing projects include supporting community members and veterans, and the club has supported the needy in underserved villages around the world, including in Nepal and Mexico. In a Nepalese village, the local club most recently provided funds along with Western Colorado Friends of the Himalayas for supplies to help rebuild the village school after a devastating earthquake. The Montrose community is very aware and supportive of Altrusa's annual Spring Luncheon Fashion Show fundraiser, which helps raise money for various philanthropic projects. This year, the luncheon raised money to fund literacy and other community projects. One of the club's earliest community projects was helping the city of Montrose establish Altrusa Park, which runs alongside Hillcrest Drive between Niagara and Sunnyside Roads. The park, according to a City of Montrose spokesman, was installed in 1986. Part of the park includes a community garden, which Altrusa members have maintained by weeding and watering the flowers and plants. Recently, the city repaired the park watering system to include the garden, said a Montrose Park and Recreation Department spokesman. In Montrose, the club has recently undertaken a project helping outfit the kitchens of the newly constructed village on San Juan. The small development going up on San Juan Boulevard in Montrose will provide new housing for homeless or threatened homeless seniors and teens who have aged out of the foster care system. Charter member Dina Brooks is especially proud of the way Altrusa International of Montrose has supported poor villages in Mexico. We raised money for an expensive concrete form for water purification, and a member and her husband drove the form down to a village where the town used it to make concrete and pebble water filters so individual homes could have clean running water, Brooks said. It was a lot of money, and then the town moved the form onto other villages so that they could have clean water too. Brooks is one of 2 charter members still active in Montrose Club, which was chartered in 1975. She and Margaret Goodhue helped start the local club, with Brooks as the first president. Brooks and senior club members Roberta Hoey, 23 years, and Dorothy Causey, 35 years, recently sat down with this Mirror reporter to discuss Altrusa of Montrose's outstanding current and past projects. In the beginning, said Causey, there wasn't social media, so club members went door to door on Main Street recruiting new members for the club. To join the international organisation, it meant we needed at least 20 members to start the club, and we started with 37 members. At the June 2024 Montrose Altrusa meeting, celebrating the milestone, Brooks shared stories about one of their elderly service projects, Lifeline. The club purchased emergency alarms for local seniors in need of assistance. In the beginning, Altrusa members had to go to local seniors' houses and physically help install the equipment. This often meant having to crawl under houses to get to power lines. Can you imagine, Brooks said. It was one of the club's early projects. Brooks says, it finally got to be too much for the club to handle, almost like a business and not in our charter. So the project was turned over to the Montrose Hospital. Altrusa of Montrose also hosted community wine and cheese nights at some local motels at fundraisers. The club still holds member social events, as well as membership recruitments. For more information on the local club, you can go to their website at altrusamontrose.org, altrusamontrose.org. Or for more information, you may call 970-765-7666 or email altrusa.montrose@gmail.com. See part 2 in the next issue of the Montrose Mirror. DMEA brings electricity to Navajo Nation homes. Newly elected Ryan Sedgley calls out Jolt Conference as quote propaganda, by Gail Marvell. Montrose. On July 23rd, the Delta Montrose Electric Association, the DMEA, Board of Directors regular meeting held at the Reed Service Centre was called to order at 3 p.m. The call to order was followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, determination of a quorum, and approval of the consent agenda, membership and meter report minutes from the June 2024. With Board President Stacia Cannon held up in road construction, Vice President Jock Fleming presided over the first part of the meeting. Steve Matheny was absent. All other board members were present. Member attendance and introductions. DMEA co-op members are afforded an opportunity to speak during member comments, which for this meeting were scheduled for 5 p.m. There were no member comments. Committee Chair Reports. Finance, Audit and Rate Committee, FAR. Damon Lockhart, Chair Lockhart said, there is no report, we did not meet. Engineering, Construction and Energy Services Committee. Eno Hoysher, Chair. Hoysher said, there is no report. The next meeting is in September. There was a brief discussion on what items would appear on the agenda for the meeting. Member Relations Committee. Kevin Williams, Chair. Williams said, we have not met. We will meet in August. We need to discuss scholarships. Executive Committee. Stacia Cannon, Chair. Cannon said, the Executive Committee did not meet. Nothing to report. International item, non-privileged CEO report, CEO Jack Johnston. Johnston passed around thank you notes, magazine articles and highlighted awards recognizing the marketing team. He touched briefly on updating the general information cards, safety, 15,000 customers connected to Elevate, new meters 4 weeks out, and hydro productivity. DMEA was recently recognised for their cybertech efforts. Johnston said, "We are above 90% in our answer rate for customer service. We are actively hiring. We are sponsoring events, and we had our groundbreaking today, Garnet Mesa Solar. Operating margins are trending well. With warm weather, demand is going up." On August 12th, we will have the Operation Roundup Social meeting with both boards. Johnston stated that Flat Top and North Delta will go live today, however no context was given. Light Up the Navajo Nation. Description of the project and previous year's videos are available online. There are 13,000 families on the reservation who have lived for decades without electricity. For instance, no refrigerators, air conditioning, water from wells, oxygen concentrators. DMEA 2024 participants shared their experience with the board, Johnston said. "We did 4 miles and 55 poles. This is a non-profit project. There are 46 power companies and from 16 states. This project started in 2019 and 850 homes have now been connected to electricity. We turned on the power to one man's house, and he said he now planned to buy a blender so he could make chili. We're going to send him a blender." Johnston noted it could take decades to finish the project and get power to all the homes on the Navajo Reservation. The slowdown can be partially attributed to the government approving easements. He said, "The US government owns all the land. It's a government reservation." The board watched a brief video on the project and saw photos of DMEA's contribution, equipment and labour. Hoysha said, "It was an incredible experience. It provides humanitarian aid, and you can't leave there without feeling more patriotic." Hoysha showed photos of the hydro panel, Source Global, which, rather than producing electricity, produces a gallon of water a day without the use of electricity. He said, "Not only do they not have electricity, they have no water. No electricity, no water." DMEA employee Wayne said, "It was definitely a humbling experience." Chief of Staff Amy Taylor said, "I knew they didn't have a lot, but this was very eye-opening to see the degree to which they didn't have a lot. It was a great experience." The DMEA staff have begun plans for next year's participation, which will include a slot for one board member to attend as a working member of the crew. Informational item: non-privileged legal report. Attorney Sarah Abbott. Abbott said, "We are working on policies and bylaws. Bylaws are a pretty big project. We're cleaning up and checking statutes. Any changes to the bylaws must be presented to the membership for review 30 days before approval by the board." Abbott said, "There are no regulatory matters to report." Abbott reported on attending a national conference. International Item Director reports Western United Electrical Supply, WUES report, Jock Fleming. Fleming said, "We didn't meet. I'll miss their next board meeting." Colorado Rural Electric Association, CREA report. Damon Lockhart. Lockhart said, "I've attended 2 co-op meetings. We had an easy election. 2 incumbents unopposed. There are 2 job openings for senior staff, safety coordinator and legislative lobbyist. There will be an executive committee meeting to discuss the openings." The DMEA board briefly discussed employees within energy-related fields who are leaving prominent positions in one organisation for opportunities in other organisations. Conferences, webinars and meetings. JOLT's second annual energy conference on June 27th to 28th, held at the Montrose Pavilion. Reports from board members who attended the conference varied. Williams said, "A lot of the topics were on the electrical grid and transmission lines. There was nothing on energy efficiency. The summit was sort of tilted towards centralized energy. Heavy on presentation, not a lot of opportunity for discussion and questions. Overall, an interesting convention," Williams said. Newly elected board member Ryan Sedgley said, "Kevin Williams is too kind. There was propaganda. Maybe we shouldn't sponsor it next year. There wasn't anything on climate change." Jacob Gray highlighted some of the information he gleaned from the conference. Fleming said, "There was some good stuff. They do seem to talk about nuclear power, slow down renewables and looking at nuclear." Fleming noted that even though the topic of nuclear energy is mentioned in energy conferences, it is currently not viable. Williams said, "Data centers need a lot of power." Cannon, Gray and Johnston toured the West Elk mine. Cannon said, "We went 3 miles in and 700 feet down. Photos of the tour were not permitted." Johnston said, "They are our largest consumer of power. Overall, it was enlightening." Cannon reported on several online classes and webinars that she attended. Future meetings. Regular meeting, August 27th, 2024. Executive session. Confidential corporate litigation and regulatory matters. Board policies. 112 Director Education, recall of directors. Board governance, education discussion, Richard Fagelin. Executive session summary, Amy Taylor, Chief of Staff. In an email, Taylor summarized the action taken by the board after exiting the executive session. Quote, "At 7:55 p.m., upon motion from Director Lockhart, seconded by Director Sedgley, the board unanimously approved exiting executive session. Upon motion by Director Williams, seconded by Director Sanchez, the board unanimously approved the updates to Board Policy 112 as presented. Upon motion by Director Fleming, seconded by Director Gray, the board unanimously approved the updates to Board Policy 113 with one amendment of removing the second sentence of paragraph 2b. There were no additional items from the executive session to address. Having no further business to conduct, the board adjourned its regular meeting at 7:57 p.m. Background. During meetings, the board hears verbal summary reports of their monthly meetings and activities. Co-op membership has access to some of the written staff reports submitted for board approval. For instance, minutes of the previous meeting, CEO report and action items, resolutions. Following the meeting, members can access packet information through SmartHub, the online service which allows members to manage their DMEA accounts. DMEA directors. District 1, Ryan Sedgley, who can be reached at 370-220-6086 and email ryan.sedgley@dmea.com. District 2 is Steve Matheny, can be reached at 970-209-6172. Email steve.metheny@dmea.com. District 3 is Jacob Gray, who can be reached at 970-778-9512. Email jacob.gray@dmea.com. District 4 is Emily Sanchez, reached at 970-209-4582. Email emily.sanchez@dmea.com. District 5 is Kevin Williams, reached at 406-839-1603. Email kevin.williams@dmea.com. District 6 is Damon Lockhart, number 970-314-1071. Email damon.lockhart@dmea.com. District 7 is Eno Hoysha, phone number 970-270-6523. Email enno.heuscher@dmea.com. District 8, North Region, Stacia Cannon, number 920-207-8831. Email stacia.cannon dmea.com. And lastly, District 9, South Region, Jock Fleming, number 970-275-1808, email jock.fleming@dmea.com. And now for Grasshopper Update, Mirror Staff Report. Colorado. We know that they're here. See article in last week's issue. But why? Why are there so many grasshoppers in Colorado this summer? To find out, we spoke with CSU Master Gardener Chuck Weaver, who works with Colorado State University's Tri-River Area Extension Office here in Montrose. Grasshoppers hatch from eggs, Weaver said, and population numbers vary according to the weather in late spring. In a rainy spring with an abundance of green foliage, there will be an abundant crop of grasshoppers to go with. In dry conditions, there is less for the hungry insects to eat, and their numbers are not as high. As the grasshoppers consume local gardens and much of the landscape, it is useful to know that in other parts of the world, grasshoppers themselves are consumed as tasty treats. A 2022 BBC article touted them as food of the future, asking if grasshoppers could ultimately replace meat, while popular cooking sites feature various recipes for turning these bugs into tasty appetizers. There is also a cocktail named after the ubiquitous insects. Although the grasshopper contains no actual bugs, it can bring a fresh enjoyment of an otherwise maligned creature. None hurt as pickup plows into bank on South Townsend. Mirror staff report. Montrose. All bank staff are safe and nobody was hurt, an employee at Vectra Bank told the Mirror after a grey pickup truck ploughed through the east wall at Vectra Bank, 1200 South Townsend Avenue, last Monday. The driver appeared to survive the incident, also, the employee said. Montrose Police Commander Larry Witt said that the driver was the only person in the vehicle at the time of the crash, which was caused by a minor medical issue. There were no injuries to anyone. Property damage was incurred to the truck as well as the building, Witt said. Local business owner Debbie Blanchard said that she arrived to the bank shortly after the accident. It was bad, she said. I am glad no one was hurt. I don't know how that truck ended up there. Colorado News Briefs. Pipe-wielding suspect fatally shot by deputy in Keystone. CBI News Release. Keystone. A pipe-wielding suspect was fatally shot by a Saguache County Sheriff deputy Thursday afternoon. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation is now assisting the Saguache County Sheriff's Office into the investigation of the fatal shooting. On Thursday, July 25th, 2024, at approximately 12 p.m., a Saguache County Sheriff deputy was driving near the town of Keystone, Colorado, to serve papers when he observed a 40-year-old white male walking about a mile from the entrance of the Baca Grande subdivision. The deputy recognized the man as having an active warrant. The deputy attempted to talk with the male suspect when the man began attacking the deputy with a 4-foot metal pipe. The deputy pulled out his service weapon and fired twice, hitting the suspect. The deputy immediately began performing life-saving measures, but the suspect was pronounced deceased at the scene. The deputy was transported to a local hospital, where he was treated and released for minor injuries. The identity of the decedent is not being released until his family has been notified. An autopsy is pending. Colorado News Briefs. Plan for brief delays, slower speeds between Saguache and Villa Grove. Special to the Mirror. Saguache County. Beginning Tuesday, July 30th, the Colorado Department of Transportation will perform surface treatment on a 7-mile segment of U.S. Highway 285, mile points 94 to 101. Motorists traveling between Saguache and the junction of Colorado, Highway 17, should plan for additional travel time through Thursday evening. Motorists will encounter full stops, up to 30-minute delays, and will be guided by a pilot car through the work zone. CDOT reminds motorists that following posted speeds is necessary to avoid vehicle damage in the chip seal work zone. Additionally, traffic entering the highway from driveways or intersections must wait for a flagger. All work is weather dependent. Motorists are encouraged to check the most current traffic impacts on cotrip.org. Traffic impacts. Daytime work hours range from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday. Motorists should plan for 20 to 30 minutes delays and should allow for extra travel time. Except one lane alternating traffic guided by flagging personnel and pilot cars. Motorists entering the highway from a driveway or intersection must wait for a pilot car. A speed reduction of 40 miles per hour will be enforced through the work zone. And that is all we have time for today. Thank you for listening to the Montrose and Delta News.